Welcome to Access, the show that sits you down and then smacks you in the eyes with the PS3 Awesome Stick. Coming up this week, we stoke the news fire in our PlayStation briefing, sneak round the studio of Assassin's Creed developers Ubisoft Montreal, and take our first look at comic book punch 'em up Ultimate Marvel vs Capcom 3. But first, we're racing through America's pretty bits with our game of the week, Need for Speed The Run. Are you struggling with your monthly loan repayments? How about consolidating all that debt into one easily manageable eyeball-blitzing road race across the United States of America? Win and you'll bag a $25 million kitty, lose and you'll be arrested or dead. Either way, no more debt. Yes! That's the logic of Need for Speed The Run's Jack Rourke anyway, a swaggering street racer who's on the run from some shady mafioso types while simultaneously bombing through San Francisco, New York and all the lovely windy bits in between. It's a setup that offers incredible racing diversity and sees you streaking through russet-tinged canyons, snow-covered mountain peaks and densely packed urban sprawls as you claw your way from the back of the pack to challenge for the big prize. Being a story-centric racer, there's plenty of cutscenes spliced into the action, including Jack gawping at these lady racers like a slap-jawed guppy fish, and those infamous on-foot sections. It's the first time Need for Speed has taken you out of the car, so here's the run's producer Alex Grimbley to explain it all.
The on-foot sequence is really they're a really great addition to the racing. Like I said before, the racing is really intense and you kind of feel exhausted after you've had a few races in a row. We really wanted to move the story forwards, bridge something between two races, and the quick time events are a good way of keeping you watching, keeping you engaged in that section where we tell that little bit of the story.
We take 4 wheels and 850 brake horsepower over 2 legs and clogged arteries any day though, and it's behind the wheel that Need for Speed shines brightest. There are a number of race modes to enjoy, each giving you a sharp burst of blazing motor action before whizzing you into the next event. But the real excitement comes when battling virtual opponents. Making use of track shortcuts and strategically deploying your nitro boosters is the key to victory, and you'll earn more XP with clean overtakes, although turning competitors into mangled wrecks of metallic goop is obviously way more fun. Need for Speed The Run is zooming onto PS3 on November the 18th, and we recommend it like driving headfirst into an avalanche of snowy awesome. This is your PlayStation briefing, the week's essential news delivered in a short, sharp burst. We kick off with a spot of amputation, courtesy of gory horror The Darkness 2. We've had a sneaky hands-on with the 2012 nasty, and among the many bits making us grin like a dangerous loon, our favourite is having our pet demon tentacles rip a man down the middle like a fleshy wishbone. We wish for new rollerblades, in case you were wondering. As fans of Snow and Gravity will no doubt be aware, next February sees the return of EA's boarding bad boy SSX. We spoke to art director Jeff Coates about rebooting the series while he was standing dramatically in front of a giant mountain.
Well, I think the controls are fairly easy to pick up and play. The big mantra that we've got on the team is making awesome easy.
Then we shall be doing it a lot. And finally, with Saints Row the Third arriving on PS3 this Friday in a characteristic display of dignity and class, we asked the game's genius man-cat mascot, Professor Genki, what exactly he's a professor of. Of course you are. That was your PlayStation briefing. We'll be back with more news next week. Get ready for some background downloading. It's time for your weekly roundup of the best content on the store. Some game called Modern Warfare 3 came out last week and sold more copies than there are stars in the universe. But it isn't complete without Call of Duty Elite, a new online subscription service that lets you track your multiplayer stats, join clans and get early access to all upcoming DLC. And while the Modern Warfare hype torrent sweeps away all in its path, don't forget the still brilliant online Call of Duty Black Ops, which trades stark urban sprawls for crumbly urban sprawls and some jungles, is now available to download in its entirety on the PlayStation Store. As if it needs to shift any more units. As COD wages war on one side of PS3, so the other side gets invaded by zombies. Again. This week sees the undead getting sliced in myriad wonderful ways with the new Game Breaker DLC for Dead Rising 2 Off the Record, essentially a cheat pack that lets you play with a massive head, or massive hands, or massive shoulders, or massive cinema-style screen filters. Either way, it's still all about the massive killing and is available to download now. Taking the PSN undead count to roughly 5 quadrillion is Zombie Apocalypse 2, which gives you and up to 3 mates lots of guns and hordes of shambling meat sacks to fire them at. It's not just ready, zombie, go! This time, however, there's now a semblance of story wedged in between all the bloodletting. Lovely. We leave you with a recommendation from the video store, which this week comes in the lithe emerald form of the Green Lantern. This sci-fi superhero romp sees Ryan Reynolds' cocky jet pilot chosen as Earth's recruit into a sort of intergalactic Baywatch team, which is lucky because on the other side of town, Peter Sarsgaard has grown a giant head and gone all evil. Find out who wins, massive heat or tight trousers in HD right now.
Wow, I know, right?
Yo, Buckethead, let's have some fun.
Our bonus level comes courtesy of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which arrived in the Access office this week featuring an unexpected guest combatant. If we ever find ourselves in a scrap against a self-healing mutant with unbreakable bones, then calling a lawyer would enter our to-do list just under find religion and die in agony. So the appearance of Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright in this latest crossover fighter is a bit of a surprise, especially as his tactics mainly consist of spraying snot at his opponents and falling on his backside. The evidence I have here requires you to taste my potent mucus. Other new additions for this Ultimate Edition include the new free post-launch DLC mode, Heroes and Heralds, which sees you dealing in ability cards as you unlock brutal new moves and punch metal ladies with Ryu's massive meat fists. Still very much the main draw, however, is seeing your comic and gaming faves thumping each other with extravagant combos and spewing witty speech bubble one-liners.
Sleep it off, baby.
Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 will be punching its way onto PS3 this Friday.
Player one win.
Epic historical blockbuster Assassin's Creed Revelations sneaks quietly onto shop shelves this week. So quietly, in fact, that it's already happened. Though the story takes place in a lush recreation of Constantinople, the game itself is made by developer Ubisoft, which is in Montreal, Canada. And look, so are we!
My name is Alex Grimbley. I'm the creative director on Assassin's Creed Revelations. At the beginning of last century, I think it was a textile factory, which explains, the large open surfaces with the wooden floors, the, beautiful wood columns and the large windows. It's a huge studio, so the feeling you get from the studio is more one of a community. It gives us the liberty of actually being able to take different talents, like shuffle them around, different brands, bring novelty and bring freshness to everything. And this is something, you can't do when you're a smaller studio.
I'm Falco Poiker. I'm the mission design director of Assassin's Creed Revelations. I worked 4 years on Splinter Cell, and when I saw Assassin's Creed, I fell in love with the game immediately and went out on the first day and bought a copy, and I was like, wow, I gotta work on this game. So after that, I started, doing the maneuvers that was required.
Hello, my name is Darby McDevitt, and I'm the lead writer of Assassin's Creed Revelations. I suppose I would have to say I'm very proud of the finale that we've given our two Assassins. We worked really hard to give that extended experience of really playing out a finale with our two Assassins that felt like deserved and gripping.
Thanks to Alex and the rest of the Assassins team for an awesome look behind the scenes. Now we're off to hit the town with Ezio. Lock up your daughters and anyone you don't want murdered. Before we go, here's a cheeky in-house Easter egg from awesome shooter Resistance 3. Look away now if you've not completed the game, as this comes right at the end. Ready? After Joseph Capelli's duffed up the Chimera and arrives home for a victory hug, his kid can be seen playing with this toy, which is none other than the Hydra tank from Ratchet & Clank A Crack in Time, also made by Insomniac Games. Not so scary now. We'll see you next week, but if you simply can't wait until then, you can always check out more video content on our Facebook page at facebook.com/PlayStation Access.